dive off the coast of my feelings. Been a year and a half of overthinking. Getting tired of nights that are cold. Take a windbreaker jacket for the road. Now I know. Now I know. Sideways and full of indecision. I'm a rock at the bottom and I'm sinking into a darkness that I've never known. At the end of the day, yeah, what's there to say? 'Cause I was supposed to fall apart. I was supposed to grab the keys and take my car, but there you were. There you are. I thought this had to leave my body. I thought I had to let it run its course. Whatever I've been through, the moment I see you, things start looking north. I've always had the wrong somebody. I've never met you like this before. Whatever I've been through ends when I see you. Things start looking north. I've been locked in a one-person view. It's like I can't rearrange what I'm used to. Hit the switch, flip a coin, change my clothes. Gets me close to content, but I'm still pretty bent. 'Cause I'm supposed to fall apart. I'm supposed to grab the keys and take my car, but there you were. There you are. I thought this had to leave my body. I thought I had to let it run its course. Whatever I've been through, the moment I see you, things start looking north. I've always had the wrong somebody. I've never met you like this before. Whatever I've been through ends when I see you. Things start looking north. I thought this had to leave my body. I thought I had to let it run its course. Whatever I've been through, the moment I see you, things start looking north. I've always had the wrong somebody. I've never met you like this before. Whatever I've been through ends when I see you. Things start looking north.
Ain't nobody stopping. Ain't nobody stopping.
And we are live. How are you doing? How are you doing, brother? This is Sunday night, spiritual night. I'm your host, Jason of Awake Souls. Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you, but it's really nice to be here tonight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to be reading the Gospel of Truth. I hope I'm coming through loud and clear. I'm going to look at some options on my end while Jason does a little bit more talking.
I was muted on Zoom, not on my microphone.
I hear you loud and clear now.
All right, yeah. So sorry about that, everyone. We are live. I'm your host, Jason, Awake Souls, joined by the Limitless One, and now you can hear us. So we're going to be going through some scriptures tonight, some amazing scriptures, and we'll talk about anything else that's on anybody's mind. The scriptures that we're going through tonight, I don't know, it's probably less than an hour read, I think. But very powerful, very impactful. Joseph Bender in the chat understands these have higher level meanings in them. So I can't wait for that.
Well, I mean, we're now getting into the more of the higher level understandings as to the thought that came forth, and a bunch of things that aren't really taught to your average modern day so-called Christians, where you go to the church and they read you a couple paragraphs from the Bible or something, and they try to relate it to modern day social media problems or something, right? No, we're actually taking you to the top, the heights of the understandings of what just descendants under Yahawahashai. So it was Irenaeus and Valentinus. This is a book that was written by Valentinus, and he was in Rome, and it's quite an interesting read. Now, we're probably not going to be breaking down all the esoteric Gnosticism stuff. We might touch on a few things, right? But I mean, we just want to read it and try to bring forth it to the light and let people ingest it, so to speak, like eating manna, right? Like eating bread. We do it spiritually. So what's on your mind, brother? I wanted to touch on one thing here. YouTube decided to go live without our consent. Somehow it switched our OBS stream channel on Saturday morning and just went live. So we were it was me, my mom, and Jason having a just coffee talk, and we went live. And it was Anthony B, an old subscriber. Hopefully he's listening tonight. A huge shout out. He was like, "You guys are live," and then we shut it down. Why don't you give your commentary on how that all went down, brother?
Yeah, so that was the excitement of yesterday, finding out that we were live when we had no idea we were live. That was amazing. So on YouTube, if you take a look at YouTube Studio, when you go live, there are certain things where you can schedule a live stream, and then there used to be just like a standard. You would create a live stream that it would give you a live stream key, and then you would take that live stream key and you would put it into the OBS software, and that's how the two connected together. They changed their system a while ago where there was still that old way where you have to have a specific key for that specific live stream. But now what they have is you can get a generic key that then all you have to do is go live from OBS Studio, and the two will match up, and you don't have to change the key from stream to stream to stream. So there was a live stream created, I don't know, I think it said 2019, said Awake Souls something. And so yesterday, like you were saying, we were just talking, this is just back chat between you, me, and Yahweh's daughter, and Yahawah's daughter, and then all of a sudden we find out that we're live. So YouTube had to have taken that old live stream and then altered it to match up with the live stream key that's within the OBS that we've been going live from. And all of a sudden, because I had not shut down OBS since our last live stream, boom, all of a sudden we were live. So it was crazy. We didn't say anything crazy. We were just talking about YD was talking about some of her personal difficulty that she's going through in Canada, and then we got into music. So it was interesting, the stuff that ended up being shared while we didn't know that it was going to be shared. It almost seemed parabolic in a lot of ways, but I also see it as an attack from the enemy, where it feels like they tried to pull our pants down, as it were, while we weren't paying attention. So now we're aware of that situation, and I doubt that situation could happen again. I've changed all the keys, and now I know to not have OBS running at any time that I don't want YouTube to all of a sudden just take me live, because it appears somebody on the back end, possibly Mark Sargent, has the ability to all of a sudden just boom, if OBS is running, take us live.
Well, I laugh at them because just about an hour and a half, an hour, maybe 45 minutes before that, we had a super heated discussion where I was basically calling out all the people on the realm right now, all the men. I was pretty aggressive that morning. I was fired up with what I was saying. And if they really wanted to get something good, why didn't they hit live on that? That's my question for whoever it was that pushed the button on the other end. Why were you too much of a coward to hit live when I was saying what needed to be said? Right? You waited until we had my mom on, and then you thought you were going to, I guess, hopefully catch us saying something that we don't care. We say the same things all the time. We believe in some things are private, some things are personal, right? Not that they're private, that certain things are unique and special, just like we are to the Father, unique, special, and private to him. We don't believe that anything else should be private. We whatever we say in private, we will proclaim in the streets. We don't have anything that we're ashamed of saying. So you guys are never going to catch us off guard, ever. No matter how many times you try, we're still going to win because we're here with truth. The truth comes out of our mouth. So play us anytime you want. So moving on from that topic, I also wanted to touch upon you have personally called out DITRH, David Weiss, challenged him to a debate, and you took a definite, interesting path. We've challenged him to a debate, but we've challenged him to go on to the Non Sequitur show, who we debated Resurrected and Sean Hufford. We want to debate David because David opened up his mouth and said that, oh, you guys are going to open with this, like try to mock our presentation and our style. Well, we would like to have our presentation style debated against his live on Red's Rhetoric channel. We'll go to the enemy's channel and we'll have at it. We'll have our court case before everybody again.
Well,
right? So why don't you
not
talk
specifically
about that,
Red's Rhetoric's channel. So the reason why I put out the challenge and I suggested a platform being the Non Sequitur show. So I had seen recently that Red's Rhetoric had the keys to the channel where he went in, I guess they wrestled the keys out of Kyle's hands because Reds thinks that it belongs to Steve. What is his last name? McCrane or something? And
crazy.
Yeah. So
it's McCrae. Steve McCrae.
McCrae.
Right? He would probably be involved. Sorry if I just peeked out yelling there. He would. We don't mind Steve. Go ahead, bring him in. Like he was involved in the last time too.
Yeah. So what Reds did is he put up a video where he went into the studio in YouTube and he deleted all the moderators that were there and he unblocked all the blocked people on the channel. So he called it a clean slate, and I guess I sort of agree. If you do something like that, it is like a clean slate. So Reds, albeit a heliocentric shill, he has a sense of justice within him that he demonstrated with taking the channel away from Kyle and giving it to Steve. That I believe that if we laid out all the rules for this debate, that he's the type of guy that would actually be compelled to follow the rules of the debate, because otherwise he would look like an ass if he didn't follow the rules of the debate. So we're looking for a third party platform to have a debate with David Weiss and the topic of Freemason New World Order AE map and model versus stereographic. So I'm hoping that David doesn't cuck out. I put the challenge out there to him, and we'll see how he responds. I gave him to sundown on the 21st, and I was just looking for parabolic times, and that's the shortest day of the year. It's coming up. So when Jaron put out his challenge or offer to us to come on to the Baby Truther show, he gave us roughly 2 days advance notice to be prepared for something like that. And so Dave's been given 2 days roughly to respond as to whether or not he's going to take the challenge. And then I also put within that I would like to have it take place by January 9th at the latest, and I'm pushing for January 8th, 8 p.m. Central. I think this would be the best time slot for everybody in the world, and there's multiple reasons why I say that. If he's like sort of dickering over what time slot, if he's going to accept the challenge, I can go into detail as to why the 8th 8 p.m. Central is the best in my opinion. And so we'll have to hash it out. We'll have to hash out the details of what the rules will be, how long a person has to speak, what order people speak in, all that kind of stuff will have to be hashed out in advance to a debate if he doesn't cuck out. So the challenge is out there, and now we're just waiting to see how big of a cuck David Weiss is.
Well, I'll let everybody know right now. My prediction, if you want to hear it, is he's not going to show up because he absolutely knows that he can't defend his model, right? The AE mapping model is a joke. Anything that has one polar point in the sky is a joke, right? Because you can represent the sky as a sphere circling around the flat, fixed Earth. That's what we argue, right? So anybody that's trying to argue anything counter to that obviously is going to get destroyed. So, and I don't think David, what is he going to bring to the debate? A sheet in his living room with a flashlight. He's going to say this is how the circling sun works, but even though in reality it does exactly the opposite of what he's trying to show you. Is he going to take a magnet with a compass on his AE map on his floor and tell us that that's reality? What is he going to actually do for proof? Is he going to take a boat and circle 60,000 miles around the ice wall? Right? None of these things are impossible. None of these things have ever happened, nor will they ever. None of them. So I don't see Dave accepting the challenge, but maybe someone else wants to step up and debate for the AE map or any circle flat Earth with beyond ice walls, anything like that. The challenge should go out to absolutely everybody, but David was the first one, and anybody else with a square map, with a rectangle map. We challenge you too. Everybody in the world, including mainstream scientists, Phil Nye, whoever wants to debate. Neil deGrasse Tyson would be the ultimate, especially when we tell him that our map and model is an oblate rectangular Earth, right? He's the one who said it was an oblate spheroid, right? So what was there other topics? I don't see too much coming in off of the chat.
Well, we have a comment from Battery 79. He asks, can he bring Jaren with him? So, yeah, the 1 versus 1. All right, if it was just 1v1, that would, I guess because I put the challenge out, it would be me versus David. That sounds a little boring in my opinion. That excludes Ronnie, right? And he wants in on this. So if Ronnie wants in on this, then Dave should have somebody to have on his side. So I really think that Jaren would be, that'd be the best if it was David and Jaren versus Ronnie and I. We could do it on the Non Sequitur show. I think that this could be the biggest debate in world history. I really think that we could build it up to being the biggest debate in world history.
Well, and I think it would be great. So it's a win-win situation for anybody involved. So whatever map and model you support or propose, you want to have as many people see it, right? Where like the truth fears no investigation. Jason and I are ready to take our evidence anywhere in the realm at any time, right? We'll do it right now. If David said, okay, you dumbasses, let's go right now, clowns. We're ready right now. And if he doesn't want to take Jaren, bring anybody in the world. David, you are the flat earth Pope right now. You have all the strings on all the different production people, who's making content, who's done flat earth proofs. And everyone, if you didn't know, I put out another new video today. This one was more on the fun side. It was some laughter. The next video I'm going to do is going to be about flat earth proofs, because lately I've been seeing like the worst flat earth I've ever seen. I haven't seen anybody giving good flat earth, and nobody does it like we do. And I'm bringing it back. So everybody make sure you've been tuned in to the Limitless channel, or you're going to start missing content, because I'm ready to go. I'm fired up for creating again, and I'm going to keep going. And everybody needs to know why I believe that the earth is flat. And I'm going to show you all, and you'll be able to see how much of a buffoon and a jackass David Weiss has been for the last 4 years, doing absolutely nothing to prove that the earth is flat, except for leading people to friend finders and whatever track you devices and give you a map that's wrong. Let's do this right, people on the other side. If you're truly interested in truth, that's what we're here for. That's what Jason and I do. This is a passion project for us. We're not being paid. We're not selling anything, nor will we ever, right? This is about truth. And we're going to stick our pegs into the ground. And if David's too much of a cuck or a coward, or he doesn't believe in his model enough to stand up in front of the world like a man and debate it, he's basically, in my opinion, dead in the topic. He's done. He's going to be SEO'd and plastered everywhere by me, by Jason, by all the people that support us. He's never going to live this down. If he truly was out here fighting for truth, he would stand up and defend his model. He says, it's not perfect or anything. So, okay, show us what you think works. Let's debate it like real men. This is the way real men settled intellectual disputes. It's through debate. and everybody else gets to watch, and they get to make up their own mind. And sure, you've got the people that call names, make fun of other people in public. They do their little chat games and they mock us. And at the end of the day, the people that are observing it on the other side get to actually see the truth. So David, if you don't stand up and take this out, you might as well just quit the flat earth, because everybody that's anybody is going to know exactly how much of a coward you are, who's peddling nothing but lies, unless you can stand up and defend, just like we will. We will stand up. We had 2 days notice, Jason said, to come and present our map and model to you guys, and we knew you were going to just laugh at it, but we showed up when we did it. I pulled out Blender again. I haven't used Blender in 4 years, but it was important to show your viewers that the map that we use also works as the sphere. That's what Reds didn't get either. He still didn't understand it, but Flat Earth Math did. And he said, yes, you're absolutely right. The stereographic projection, the oblique mercator that you guys are using, is the actual correct map and model that I would have to use if it was a flat map. Right? We've done this over and over again. So we'll see, brother. I guess I'll end the rant. To me, the most important thing is truth, right? And standing up for truth, not being a coward, not being a cuck, not being some pushover just because you think, oh, this guy's a Christian. He's not going to. Absolutely not. You're going to see the most fearless people are the ones who believe what we have. When you have a foundation in truth, the Father, if he hath sent you, you're not afraid of any man. I'm not. Jason's not. We're not afraid of any lies or any truth. We just simply witness it and bring it to the people. And the last thing I want to say before I throw it back to you is censorship is a joke to me, because I know exactly how this realm works. Well, I mean, I don't know everything. I don't want to be a liar, but I know how information spreads. Right? How a virus takes hold. Once you've seen the truth and heard it, you can't unlearn it, right? Until it's been fixed, amended, or proven otherwise. It stays with you. And everything that Jason and I have been doing for the entire time has stood the test of time and will continue to. So everybody out there, don't be so worried about numbers, about views. Just continue to fight for truth. Take ours just as we lead. We don't worry about who says what or who does what. You just push through. Fight for the truth, share content, write blogs, put down the no. If people give their consent to the New World Order just gets to walk all over us. If you say no and you don't participate, boycott them. If we had a list of all the people in Canada, all the companies that were pushing these illegal mandates or whatever, unconstitutional, they would have to stop. If people stopped going to the restaurants, they would be closed down. Or the New World Order would just print money to infinity and just keep paying them. Right. So the only way we can take any power back is through boycotting and fighting together and saying no. Stand up, say no, make a meme, write a post, write a blog, share a video, film something, do something.
So we have a comment from Mandrake108 where he asked the question, why did David Weiss tell you about him and PK getting knighted? He must have known you would upload the video. So we spoke about the context of how this took place, and the way that happened is Ronnie remembered hearing David and PK being knighted, and he knew what show it was in, but he had looked all over the internet, searched everywhere he possibly could, and could not find where that episode was. So he locked that up in the back of his mind, and then when we went to the Baby Truther show and we had Dave Weiss, we were able to talk to him. Ronnie just asked him, hey, where's that hangout that you and PK did? And Dave, probably out of his narcissism and his ego, considering that this was the time that he was knighted, he probably thought of it as, oh, yeah, this is an awesome hangout. So he surfed it up and said where to find it. Ronnie typed it as he said it, and then afterwards we downloaded it and shared it. So it's the narcissism and the egos of these characters that just serve them up as cannon fodder. They can't help themselves.
Yes. So I know people out there love Sun Tzu and the Art of War. I mean, if you could predict your enemy's moves, you could just play whack-a-mole, just smash them every way you want. And I do want to give David and PK credit right now in front of the whole realm, heaven and earth, everybody. They broke down that Boston thing like nothing else. They had character names. It was hilarious. They had the slow-mos. They had the guy shredding the trouser bombs. They had it all. It was phenomenal. It was the best breakdown of the Boston trouser thing on the online. It still is to this day. I'll ring the bell for them. See, this is what we do here. Not only do we call out lies and disinformation, but if you are our mortal enemy because we think that you're fighting against the validity of the scriptures, the word, the inspired, the thought that came forth from the Father, if we know you're against him, I will still hold you up when you speak truth. I will promote that. John B. Wells and David Weiss and PK Truth 5, I think it is now, we were promoting you. We were giving you views. We were, look, everyone, check this out. Sure, we pointed out that you guys did some Jesuitic nonsensical knighting thing and then got plastered up on the knights, sir. We showed that, yes, because that is a data point. Whether you want to call us clowns or stupid, we showed the world, right? The most important part was the fact that David and PK broke down that hoax, exposed it to media since the Smith-Mundt Act had been repealed, had been lying and creating news. They're allowed to just film whatever they want. Even with the Cerveza, right now, it's all legal. They took it away in 2013. PK and David did an excellent job. Now, would I want to knight them and make them swear some oath and give them? No, the truth is outside of them. They just witnessed it and reported what they saw. They didn't create the truth, nor do they own it. So when David and PK want to come in commenting on the bottoms of the video saying, you guys are clowns, this and that, we actually supported you. We could have just left you in the dust. We didn't need to bring you up into the light, but we did. And I don't need to be thanked for it, but, a little bit of respect. David, if you had any balls, you would actually debate us once and for all. Put it to the test, your AE map versus our model and projection. That's what a true man of truth would do. But I don't think that there are very many of them. So
another comment from Battery 79. It looks like Jake and Jaron need to have a debate. I think that's one of the most ridiculous concepts I've ever heard of, because you would have the penis measuring guy versus the raw meat eating, mushroom crying, one string bass slapping guy, and what would be the accomplishment of those two debating each other? Sure, after they debated each other, we might have an absolute bonanza of crazy timestamps to go through, and it'll be a laugh. But other than that, I mean, I wouldn't watch the thing to learn something, because neither of them share anything that's of any value. Like, it seems crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to debate over? Jaren's wife is a whore, like Jake is saying, or what is Jake's a psychopath, like Jaren's saying? Like, what? Where's the truth in that? If everybody hasn't noticed, it's been nothing but a distraction. And Jaren took the high road. He dealt with it properly. And Jake's still running a crazy man, acting like a fool. And now he's recanted it all and said he was acting. It was wrestling. He was doing like a macho man. He was doing all this nonsense, like Alex Jones stuff. So that's what these liars and shills and deceivers do. They come out and they lie and they shill and they deceive. And then they say, oh, I was just acting. Right. But then they say, on the other hand, I'm not an actor. Just because my IMDb says I'm an actor, I'm not an actor. I was in the movie.
But remember, we showed the timestamp of Jaren having the IMDb in 2015. This is long.
PK.
No.
PK2.
Yeah, okay.
PK2.
Yeah, well, he's an
actor too.
Yeah.
No, he was failed. He was just the background guy, walking with Nicolas Cage and Robert De Niro. PK is one of them, right? So we see the Samoans. If you go into a mall and the whole mall is filled with Samoans, you can be like, wow, that's a lot of Samoans in the mall. We came into the truth movement, and all of a sudden in the flat earth movement, there's a bunch of failed actors. Mac was a failed actor. Robbie Davidson was a failed actor. Math Powerland was a failed actor. PK Truth, he's not a flat earther, though. Failed actor. David Weiss, I don't think ever did anything. His claim to fame was his podcast, his disgusting Sodom and Gomorrah type podcast that he used to run called Deep in the Rabbit Hole, with all the symbolism that we've already gone through. But we'll see if he stands up and debates his map and model. Is there any more questions coming in from the chat? I'm really excited to get to the Gospel of Truth. This is it's quite the book. It's quite the read. Again, it's written by Valentinius, and he was a disciple of Irenaeus, who was one of the early refutations against Gnosticism and all the lies and deception that tried to creep back in after they killed the disciples and the disciples' disciples. So the other thing that is really important to keep remembering is that we have no fear. the fact that we were called forth, we're here, we have a name, we share truth, we fight for truth. We will always be created again, resurrected, reincarnated, however you want to use the word. Have no fear. Fight for truth. If I fear not fighting for truth, because if you don't fight for truth, I don't know if you're going to be resurrected or reincarnated. I don't know. The book seems to be pretty important about those that die for truth, right? That's so everybody else, just stay strong, and hopefully David Weiss takes the challenge. What say you?
Yeah, absolutely. So one way or the other, tomorrow I'll start producing some extremely mocking type content of David Weiss, where I put together as many clips just showing what a asshole he is and how many times he's lied and all these things. I'll just pile it together, compile it, start putting that into a video, and I'll have that ready to go in case he just cucks out and doesn't respond to the challenge. And then if he does respond, then we'll start negotiating the terms of how this debate's going to go down. So something to get ready for. I'm hopeful. I would rather have the debate than just sit here and mock him and everybody else that promotes the Flat Earth Society model, right? The New World Order AE map model. I don't want to just sit around mocking these people endlessly, but I'll do it if I have to. I would rather debate them and show everybody in real time how wrong they are. Stupidly wrong, right?
Yeah, like men. Or women. Even righteous, good women can debate too.
Yeah,
anybody.
If David wants to bring Kelsey on as his debating partner, he can do that too.
Stop him, bro.
He could.
Why you gotta bring Kelsey into this? Come on.
Well, you said women. You said women.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
Okay. Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. That was smooth, bro. That was smooth. Yeah, anybody can come in. Jason and I don't play. We don't care what color you are, what sex you are. We don't care any of that. We care about the truth that you share. That's the only thing that matters. That's it. Everything else is going to get changed, washed away. Just like everything. The flowers of the field. They're here one day and beautifully, and then the next day they're gone. Right? So the best thing that we can do is be as beautiful and loving and fight passionate as we can. I'm ready to die for the truth. I know Jason is. Jason's been wanting to die for a long time. But thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I hope that the words that we're about to read settle deep inside of your spirit as a soothing medicine that's going to flow forth from our mouths to you on the other sides of the screen. This is something about losing fear, putting yourself into the Father. This is where we're going to go tonight. And I want you guys on the other side of the screen to truly just take the time, relax, maybe listen back to this podcast again when you have more space and time. I don't know what everybody's situation is, but these scriptures are very deep. They're very poetic. And again, this was written much after Yahawahashai's ministry. So this was the teaching that was handed down. And this is a poetic take. It's more of a commentary than it is a biblical scripture. I want to make sure that everybody understands that. Jason, let me know when you're ready.
I'm going to take us over into the scriptures right now.
You okay? Because I was going to go into a link first if maybe you wanted me to start, but if you want to, it's up to you.
Well, we gotta set up your screen share. So, just a second. Let me. All right, you want a screen share?
Yeah, you've got me off camera.
Yeah. So hello to everybody in the chat. We're just gonna get set up here. Ronnie wants to share you something in a screen share, and I might have to adjust it. Let's see what we got.
I'm muted. I should be good. I should be sounding better too. This was the first link I was going to show, so people understand a little bit in context of what we're reading tonight.
All right, that it should be sharing all right. I guess we can dump our cameras now to save a little bandwidth.
I turned it off. Yeah, is it sharing?
Yeah.
So again, this Gospel of Truth is one of the Gnostic texts. It's an Apocrypha. It's a commentary written on the New Testament, and it was retrieved from the Nag Hammadi Codices, the NHC for short. It's Coptic translations. These were like buried. These fragments were hidden and they were brought back out into the light, which is also fulfilling scriptures. Again, so the writer was Valentinus, right? And he was a understudy of Irenaeus, noted for role in guiding and expanding Christian communities in the southern regions of modern-day France, and widely the development of Christian theology and combating heresy and defining orthodoxy. Irenaeus was quite the man, and so was Valentinus, right? So it's quite the book. These are the fragments that the scriptures were taken from. The text is written in a strong poetic skill, notable even in translation. It includes heavily cyclical presentations of themes. It is not, quote unquote, a gospel in the sense of the account of the works of Yahawahashai of Nazareth, but is better understood as a homily. The text is generally considered by scholars one of the best written texts in the entirety of the Nag Hammadi codices, right? Excuse me. It's quite the book. Jason, do you have the sound playing?
Not yet. No.
No? Oh,
I'll get it going.
You owe me $10.
Well, I thought I'd save it for the reading, but
Oh, well, that was part of the reading.
okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was like set up to the reading.
Hopefully I'm coming in nice and clear. Everybody can hear me in the 5x5 in the chat.
All right, just a second here. I'm gonna have to pull this down a little.
Okay.
Oh, no, now that you scrolled up, it looks good.
Yeah.
Just remember that your cursor needs to stay up near the top of the page to show up in the live feed.
Here?
Yep, that area, your cursor shows up. You can see right down to the word gospel, name of the gospel. That'll
To
give
here.
you, yeah.
Excuse me. Okay. So everyone can hear me, right? I'm good. Music's on. We're go.
Yeah, and if I can get a 5x5 from the chat as far as how the background
Sounds
sound is.
They're saying it sounds good. Sounds clear. 5x5. Okay. Thank you, chat. Most of all, thank you, Yahweh's daughter. The gospel of truth is joy to those who have received from the Father of truth the gift of knowing him by the power of the word, who has come from the fulfillment, and who is in the thought and the mind of the Father. He it is who is called the Savior, since that is the name of the work which he must do for the redemption of those who have not known the Father. For the name of the gospel is the manifestation of hope, since that it is the discovery of those who seek him, because all sought him from whom it all had come forth. You see, the all had been inside of him, the illimitable, inconceivable one, who is better than any and every thought. The ignorance of the Father brought forth about terror and fear, and terror became dense like a fog that no one was able to see. Because of this error became strong, but it worked only on a material substance vainly, because it did not know the truth. It was in a fashion formed while it was preparing, in power and in beauty. The equivalent of truth, this then, was not a humiliation for him, the illimitable, inconceivable one, for they were as nothing, this terror and this forgetfulness and this figure of falsehood, whereas this established truth is unchanging, unperturbed, and completely beautiful. For this reason, do not take error too seriously. Thus, since it had no root, it was in a fog as regards the Father, engaged in preparing works, and forgetfulness, and fears in order, by these means to beguile those of the middle, and to make them captive. The forgetfulness of error was not revealed. It did not become light beside the Father. Forgetfulness did not exist with the Father, although it existed because of him. What exists in him is knowledge, which was revealed so that forgetfulness might be destroyed, and that they might know the Father, since forgetfulness existed because they did not know the Father. If they then come to know the Father, from that moment on, forgetfulness will cease to exist. That is the gospel of whom they seek, which he has revealed to the perfect through the mercies of the Father, as the hidden mystery of Yahawahashai the Christ. Through him he enlightened those who were in darkness because of the forgetfulness. He enlightened them and gave them a path. And that path is the truth, which he taught them. For this reason, error was angry with him, so it persecuted him. It was distressed by him, so it made him powerless. He was nailed to the tree, and he became the fruit of the knowledge of the Father. He did not, however, destroy them because they ate of it. He rather caused those who ate of it to be joyful because of its discovery. And as for him, them he found in himself, and him they found in themselves, that illimitable, inconceivable one, that perfect Father who made the all, and in whom the all is, and in whom the all lacks, since he retained in himself their perfection, which he had not given to the all. The Father was not jealous. What jealousy indeed is there between him and his members? For even if the aeon had received their perfection, they would not have been able to approach the perfection of the Father, because he retained their perfection in himself, giving it to them as a way to return to him and as a knowledge unique in perfection. He is the one who set the all in order, and in whom the all existed, and when whom the all lacked. As one of whom some have no knowledge, he desires that they know him, and that they love him. For what is it that all lacked? What is it that the all lacked, if not the knowledge of the Father? He became a guide, quiet in leisure. In the middle of a school, he came and spoke the word as a teacher, Yahawahashai. Those who were wise in their own estimation came to put him to test, but he discredited them as empty-headed people. They hated him because they really were not wise men. After all these came also the little children, those who possessed the knowledge of the Father. When they became strong, they were taught the aspects of the Father's face. They came to know, and they were known. They were glorified, and they gave glory. In their heart, the living book of the living was manifest. The book which was written in the thought and in the mind of the Heavenly Father. Them, formed before the foundation of the all, is in that incomprehensible part of the Father. This is the book which no one found possible to take, since it was reversed for him who will take it and be slain. No one was able to be manifest from those who believed in salvation, as long as that book had not appeared. For this reason, the compassionate, faithful Yahawahashai was patient in his sufferings until he took that book, since he knew that death meant life for many, just as in the case of a will which has not been yet opened. For the fortune of the deceased master of the house is hidden, so also in the case of the all, which had been hidden as long as the Father of the all was invincible and unique in himself, in whom every space has its source. For this reason Yahawahashai appeared. He took that book as his own, and he was nailed to the tree. He affixed the edict of the Father to that tree. Oh, such great teaching! He abases himself even unto death. He humbles himself even unto death. Though he is clothed in eternal life, having divested himself of these perishable rags, he clothed himself in incorruptibility, which no one could possibly take from him. Having entered into the empty territory of fears, he passed before those who were stripped by forgetfulness, being both knowledge and perfection, proclaiming the things that are in the heart of the Heavenly Father, so that he became the wisdom of those who had received the instruction. But those who are able to be taught the living, who are inscribed in the book of the living, learn for themselves, receiving instructions from the Father, turning to him and his face. You want to take over, Jay?
Sure. Yeah, awesome scriptures.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful, this book. It's
I'm giving you the screen share so you'll...
Oh, good.
And it continues, since the perfection of the all is in the Father, it is necessary for the all to ascend to him. Therefore, if no one has knowledge, he gets what belongs to him and draws it to himself. For he who is ignorant is deficient, and it is a great deficiency, since he lacks that which will make him perfect. Since the perfection of the all is in the Father, it is necessary for the all to ascend to him and for each one to get the things which are his. He registered them first, having prepared them to be given to those who came from him. Those whose name he knew first were called last, so that the one who has knowledge is he whose name the Father has pronounced. For he whose name has not been spoken is ignorant. Indeed, how shall one hear if his name has not been uttered? For he who remains ignorant until the end is a creature of forgetfulness, and will perish with it. If this is not so, why have these wretches no name? Why do they have no sound? Hence, if one has knowledge, he is from above. If he is called, he hears, he replies, and he turns towards him who called him, and he ascends to him, and he knows what he is called. Since he has knowledge, he does the will of him who called him. He desires to please him, and he finds rest. He receives a certain name. He who thus is going to have knowledge knows whence he came and whither he is going. He knows it is a person who, having become intoxicated, has turned from his drunkenness, and having come to himself, has restored what is his own. He has turned many from error. He went before them to their own places, from which they departed when they erred because of the depth of him who surrounds every place, whereas there is nothing which surrounds him. It was a great wonder that they were in the Father without knowing him, and that they were able to leave on their own, since they were not able to contain him and know him in whom they were, for indeed his will had not come forth from them. He had revealed it as knowledge, with which all its emanations agree, namely, the knowledge of the living book which he revealed to the aeons at last as his letters, displaying to them that these are not merely vowels nor consonants, so that one may read them and think of something void of meaning. On the contrary, they are letters which convey the truth. They are pronounced only when they are known. Each letter is perfect truth, like a perfect book, for they are letters written by the hand of the unity, since the Father wrote them for the aeons, so that they by means of his letters might come to know the Father. While his wisdom mediates on the Logos, and since his teachings express it, his knowledge has been revealed. His honor is a crown upon it. Since his joy agrees with it, his glory exalted it. It has revealed his image. It has obtained his rest. His love took bodily form around it. His trust embraced it. Thus the Logos of the Father goes forth into the all, being the fruit of his heart and expression of his will. It supports the all. It chooses and also takes the form of the all, purifying it and causing it to return to the Father and to the Mother. Yahawahashai of the utmost sweetness. The Father opens his bosom, but his bosom is the Holy Spirit. He reveals his hidden self, which is his Son, so that through the compassion of the Father, the aeons may know him, end their wearying search for the Father, and rest themselves in him, knowing that this is rest. After he had filled what was incomplete, he did away with form. The form of it is the world, that which it served. For where there is envy and strife, there is an incompleteness, but where there is unity, there is completeness. Since this incompleteness came about because they did not know the Father, so when they know the Father, incompleteness, from that moment on, will cease to exist. As one's ignorance disappears when he gains knowledge, and as darkness disappears when light appears, so also incompleteness is eliminated by completeness. Certainly, from that moment on, form is no longer manifest, but will be dissolved in fusion with unity. For now their works lie scattered. In time, unity will make the spaces complete. By means of unity, each one will understand itself. By means of knowledge, it will purify itself of diversity with a view towards unity, devouring matter within itself like fire and darkness by light, death by life. You want to take over, brother?
Yeah, you read my mind. Did you just hear what that last quote said? Excuse me.
No, I did. I read it.
By means of knowledge, it will purify itself of diversity with a view towards unity, devouring matter within itself like fire and darkness by light and death by life. Whew. That is some you guys, you have to unscreen share, I think. That is some, I don't even want to say, it's just some manna right there. And hopefully I'm still coming in clear.
That is the manna.
Whew. Tell me when I'm presented.
You're presented.
Devouring matter within itself like fire and darkness by light and death by life. It continues, certainly, if these things have happened to each one of us, it is fitting for us, surely, to think about the all, so that the house may be holy and silent for unity. Like people who have moved from a neighborhood, if they have some dishes around which are not good, they usually break them. Nevertheless, the householder does not suffer a loss, but rejoices. For in the place of these defective dishes, there are those which are completely perfect. For this is the judgment which has come from above, and which had judged every person. A drawn two-edged sword cutting on this side and that. When it appeared, I mean the word, who is in the heart of those who pronounce it, it was not merely a sound, but it became a body. A great disturbance occurred among the dishes, for some were emptied, others filled, and some were provided for, and others were removed. I just want to just say here, this transliteration isn't perfect. When it's talking about the dishes, it's talking about like a vessel or a jar that's being filled, not like a plate. It's like a basin, and it had like a lid. Excuse me 1 second. Then it says, all of the spaces were shaken and disturbed, for they had no composure nor stability. Error was disturbed, not knowing what it should do. And it was troubled, it lamented. It was beside itself, because it did not know anything. When knowledge, which is its abolishment, approached it with all its emanations, error is empty, since there is nothing in it. Truth appeared, and all its emanations recognized it. They actually greeted the Father with the power which is complete and which joins them with the Father. For each one loves the truth because the truth is in the mouth of the Father. His tongue is holy and of the Holy Spirit, who joins him to the truth, attaching him to the mouth of the Father. By his tongue, at that time, he shall receive the Holy Spirit. So I wanted to break this down a little bit. I know we're not breaking down too much because it's just a little bit, but so it says here, when you allow the Father into your life and you're of truth, your tongue becomes his tongue. He can speak through you, right? That's how Yahawahashai was saying, I and the Father are one, right? Everything he tells me to say, I'll say it. And this is just furthering that teaching. There's a bunch of parallels, and you can read all about that. We'll add in the description box the different text and subtext for this. I'll continue on. It says, this is the manifestation of the Father and his revelation to the ages. He revealed his hidden self and explained it. For who is it that who exists if it is not the Father for himself? All the spaces are his emanations. They knew that they stemmed from him as children from the perfect man. And they knew that they had not yet received from nor form, nor had they yet received a name. Every one in which the Father produces, if they at that time receive form of his knowledge, though they are truly in him, they do not know him. But the Father is perfect. He knows every space which is within him. If he pleases, he reveals anyone whom he desires by giving him form and by giving him or her a name. And he does give him a name and cause him to come into being. Those who do not yet exist are ignorant of him who created them. I do not say, then, that those who do not yet know that they exist are nothing, but they are in him who will desire it. But it is in him who he will desire that they exist when he pleases, like the event which is going to happen. On the one hand, he knows before anything is revealed what he will produce. And on the other hand, the fruit which has not yet been revealed does not know anything, nor is it anything either. Thus, each space which on its parts is in the Father comes from the existent one, who, on his part, has established it from the non-existent. He who does not exist at all will never exist. What then is that which he wants him to think? I am like the shadows of the phantoms of the night. When morning comes, this one knows that the Father which he had experienced was nothing. Thus they were ignorant of the Father. He is the one whom they did not see. Since there had not been fear and confusion and lack of confidence and double-mindedness and division, there were many illusions which were conceived by him, the foregoing as well as the empty ignorance, as if they were fast asleep and found themselves a prey to troubled dreams. Either there is a place in which they are to flee, or they lack strength as they come. Having pursued unspecified things, either they are involved in inflicting blows, or they themselves receive bruises. Either they are falling from high places, or they fly off through the air, though they have no wings at all. Other times it is as if they are certain people who were trying to kill them, even though there was no one pursuing them. Or they themselves are killing those beside them, for they are stained by their blood. Until the moment when they who are passing through all these things, I mean they who have experienced all the confusions, awake. They see nothing because the dreams were nothing. It is thus that they who cast ignorance from them as sleep do not consider it to be anything, nor regard its properties to be something real. But they renounce them like a dream in a night, and they consider the knowledge of the Father to be the dawn. It is thus that each one has acted, as if he were asleep during the time when he was ignorant, and thus he comes to understand, as if he were awakening. And happy is the man who comes to himself and awakens. Indeed, blessed is he who has opened the eyes of the blind. Jason, you want to take over?
Sure. Should I say awake souls right there? No,
yeah, I read your verse. Bro. Mine are coming up too. It's funny how these things happen where Jason and I chose names that ended up in this book, yet we can both witness to us, not going through this book until now, even though I've listened to it and read it a few times. Robert's got, hundreds and hundreds of books, or not hundreds, but tons. I'll put it in the description. Okay, you got it, brother.
All right. And the Spirit came to him in haste when it raised him, having given its hand to the one lying prone on the ground. It placed him firmly on his feet, for he had not yet stood up. He gave them the means of knowing the knowledge of the Father and the revelation of his Son. For when they saw it and listened to it, he permitted them to take a taste of it, and to smell and to grasp of the beloved Son. He appeared informing them of the Father, the illimitable One. He inspired them with that which is in the mind, while doing his will. Many received the light and turned towards him, but material men were alien to him and did not discern his appearance, nor recognize him. For he came in the likeness of flesh, and nothing blocked his way, because it was incorruptible and unrestrainable. Moreover, while saying new things, speaking about what is in the heart of the Father, he proclaimed the faultless word. Light spoke through his mouth, and his voice brought forth life. He gave them thought and understanding and mercy and salvation, and the spirit of strength derived from the limitlessness of the Father and sweetness. He caused punishments and scourgings to cease, for it was they which caused many in the need of mercy to astray from him in error and in chains. And he mightily destroyed them and derided them with knowledge. He became a path for those who went astray, and knowledge to those who were ignorant, a discovery for those who sought, and a support for those who tremble, a purity for those who were defiled. He is the shepherd who left behind the 99 sheep which had not strayed and went in search of the one which was lost. He rejoiced when he had found it. For 99 is a number of the left hand, which holds it. The moment he finds the one, however, the whole number is transferred to the right hand. Thus it is with him who lacks the one, that is, the entire right hand which attracts that in which it is deficient, seizes it from the left side, and transfers it to the right. In this way, then, the number becomes 100. This number signifies the Father. He labored, even on the Sabbath, for the sheep which he found fallen into the pit. He saved the life of that sheep, bringing it up from the pit in order that you may understand fully what the Sabbath is. You who possess full understanding, it is a day in which it is not fitting that salvation be idle, so that you may speak of that heavenly day which has no night, and of the sun which does not set, because it is perfect. Say then in your heart that you are this perfect day, and that in you the light which does not fail dwells.
Hold on. I just want to quickly go over that right there. So scroll up a bit, please. A little bit more. So he labored even on the Sabbath for the sheep which he found fallen into the pit. Okay, so the law keepers out there, the people that believe in that they're supposed to be, do all the law. So this is talking about people who broke the law while doing what was righteous. So when men seek to be righteous through the law, they miss the true Father, right? The Father is in the heart, right? And this is what this book is sort of telling you. And it says it right there, right, Jason? You could read the part you have highlighted.
Is this, say then in your... Well, I gotta scroll up. Say then in your heart that you are this perfect day, and that in you the light which does not fail dwells.
So the perfect day is the 1,000-year reign of Yahawahashai, the Christ, the limitless one, the Son of the limitless one. This is his reign. This is his kingdom. There'll be no sunset. There'll be no pain. This is the perfect day. And it's telling us, believe in it. In your heart, know that you're going to be there. You are. There's nothing that's going to separate you guys on the other side of the screen. You're all coming there. Everyone that's hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth right now will be there with us. You have to believe that you are there in that, in your heart. And if you believe in that, you will be there.
You want to take over at this point?
You want me to?
Let's see. I'll read one more.
Okay.
Speak concerning the truth to those who seek it, and of knowledge to those who, in their error, have committed sin. Make sure-footed those who stumble, and stretch forth your hands to the stick. Nourish the hungry, and set at ease those who are troubled. Foster men who love. Raise up and awaken those who sleep. For you are this understanding which encourages. If the strong follow this course, they are even stronger. Turn your attention to yourselves. Do not be concerned with other things, namely, that which you have cast forth from yourself, that which you have dismissed. Do not return to them to eat them. Do not be moth-eaten. Do not be worm-eaten, for you have already shaken it off. Do not be a place of the devil, for you have already destroyed him. Do not strengthen your last obstacles, because that is reprehensible. For the lawless one is nothing. He harms himself more than the law. For that one does his works because he is a lawless person. But this one, because he is a righteous person, does his works among others. Do the will of the Father, then, for you are from him.
Oh, that right there. If people don't understand, that's talking about, yes, there are parts of the law that are righteous, that are of the Father. You have to end the screen share.
Yeah, well, and I also...
Do those things.
So the wicked person's trying to keep the law because they think it's going to somehow save them. The righteous person just does righteous works because they're a righteous person.
Yes.
Right?
No need for any books. Although we read the books because we honor the word, the logos, what's sent us, right? Where we came from, we speak of, right? 1 second. Am I good?
You are good. I can't see the top of the page. You might have to scroll it down a little. There you go.
For the Father is sweet, and his will is good. He knows the things that are yours, so that you may rest yourselves in them. For by the fruits one knows the things that are yours, that they are the children of the Father. And one knows his own aroma, that you originate from the grace of his countenance. For this reason the Father loved his aroma, and it manifests itself in every place. And when it is mixed with matter, it gives his aroma to the light. And into his rest he causes it to ascend in every form and in every sound. For there are no nostrils which smell the aroma, but it is the Spirit which possesses the sense of smell. And it draws itself, and it draws for itself, to itself, and sinks into its aroma of the Father. He is indeed the place for it, and he takes it to the place from which it has come. In the first aroma, which is cold, it is something in a psychic form, resembling cold water, which is, since it is in the soil, which it is not hard, of which those who seek it, I think, and it is of the earth, and afterwards it becomes soft again. If a breath is taken, it is usually hot. The cold aromas, then, are the form of division. For this reason, Yahawah came and destroyed the division, and he brought the hot allness. This palaroma means the fullness of love, so that the cold may not return, but the unity of the perfect thought would prevail. This is the word of the gospel of the finding of the fullness, the limitlessness, for those who wait for the salvation which comes from above. When their hope for which they are waiting is waiting, they whose likeness is the light in which there is no shadow. Then, at that time, the fullness is about to come. The deficiency of matter, however, is not because of the limitlessness of the Father, who comes at a time of the deficiency. And yet, no one is able to say to that incorruptible one, will come in this manner. But the depth of the Father is increasing, and the thought of error is not with him. It is a matter of falling down, and a matter of being readily set upright at the finding of that one who has come to him, who will turn back. So just want to point this out again. It is a matter of falling down. See this right here? And it is a matter of being set readily back upright. This is the path that righteous people go through. We are not perfect. You on the other side of the screen, I'm sure you've fallen down many times. But if you were able to get back, set back upright, you know that the Father is in you. If you ask him, he will always set you back upright. This is a promise, a guarantee. You can guaranteed you will always be set upright, and you will always be resurrected, reincarnated again. For this turning back is called repentance. For this reason, incorruption has breathed. It followed him who had sinned in order that he may find rest. For forgiveness is that which remains for the light in the deficiency. The word of the fullness. For the physician hurries to a place in which there is sickness, because that is the desire which he has. The sick man is in a deficient condition, but he does not hide himself because the physician possesses that which he lacks. And in this manner, the deficiency is filled by the fullness, which has no deficiency, which has given itself out in order to fill the one who is deficient, so that the grace may take him. Then, from the error which is deficient and has no grace, because of the diminishing accord in the place which there is no grace, the area where the one who is small, who is deficient, is taken hold of. He revealed himself as the fullness, the finding of the light of truth, which has shined towards him, because he is unchangeable. For this reason, they who have been troubled speak about Christ in their midst, so that they may receive a return. and he may anoint them with the ointment. The ointment is the pity of the Father, who will have mercy on us. But those whom he has anointed are those who are perfect. For the filled vessels are those which are customarily used for anointing. But when anointing is finished, the vessel is usually empty. And the cause of its deficiency is the consumption of the ointment. For then a breath is drawn only through the power which he has. But the one who is without deficiency, one does not trust anyone beside him, nor does one pour anything out. But that which is deficient is filled again by the perfect Father. He is good. He knows his plantings, because he is the one who has planted them in his paradise. And his paradise is his place of rest. Okay, I really want to break this down. This has a lot packed into it, okay? But just to say that, like, it doesn't matter how broken you are, it doesn't matter what you've done. If you beg for forgiveness and mercy, he fills you. And right here, something that I've been constantly trying to tell people, we are just like the flowers and the trees, right? He loves us. He planted us here. If you're here, if you're listening to us right now, you are a place where the Father can come and dwell. You don't have to, like, go through 366 books. We do that because that's the fruit that we want. We enjoy reading the books. You on the other side of the screen, you're already paradise. You're in paradise. The Father dwells in you. I know it's an effed up paradise right now, but it's still paradise. We're alive. We're all alive. We're all breathing. We're all experiencing. We're all learning. We're all going through this. And all this stuff is going to be used for righteousness. All the pain, all the suffering, everything we're going through right now, we are going to figure it out in the end. We're going to understand why all this had to take place. And I promise you guys, if you just hold fast, keep faith, it's all going to work out in the end. I'll read a little bit more. This is the perfection in the thought of the Father, and these are the words of his reflection. Each one of his words is the work of his will alone, in the revelation of his word. Since they were in the depth of his mind, the Word, who was the first to come forth, caused them to appear, along with an intellect which speaks the unique word by means of a silent grace. It was called thought. Since they were in it before becoming manifest, it happened then that it was the first to come forth, at the moment pleasing to the will of him who desired it. And it is in the will that the Father is at rest, and with which he is pleased. Nothing happens without him, nor does anything occur without the will of the Father. But his will is incomprehensible. His will is his mark. But no one can know it, nor is it possible for them to consecrate on it, or order to possess it. But that which he wishes takes place. At that moment, he wishes it. Even if the view does not please anyone, it is Yahawah's will. For the Father knows the beginning of them, all as well as the end. For when their end arrives, he will question them face to face. The end, you see, is the recognition of him who is hidden. That is the Father, from whom the beginning came forth, and to whom will return all who have come from him. For they were made manifest through the glory and the joy of his name. Wow. I'm getting kind of emotional on the other side of the screen here. That's wow.
All right.
It's all you.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a screen share click. And the name of the Father is the Son. It is he who in the beginning gave a name to him who came forth from him. He is the same one, and he begat him for a son. He gave him his name, which belonged to him. He, the Father, who possesses everything which exists around him. He possesses the name. He has the Son. It is possible for them to see him. The name, however, is invisible, for it alone is the mystery of the invisible, about to come to ears completely filled with it through the Father's agency. Moreover, as for the Father, his name is not pronounced, but it is revealed through a Son. Thus, then, the name is great. Who then has been able to pronounce a name for him, this great name, except him alone, to whom the name belongs, and the Son's the name, in whom the name of his Father is at rest, and who themselves in turn are at rest in his name, since the Father has no beginning? It is he alone who engendered it for himself as a name in the beginning before he had created the aeons, that the name of the Father should be over their heads as a Lord, that is, the real name, which is secure by his authority and by his perfect power. For the name is not drawn from lexicons, nor is his name derived from common name-giving, but it is invisible. He gave a name to himself alone, because he alone saw it, and because he alone was capable of giving himself a name. For he who does not exist has no name. For what name would one give him who did not exist? Nevertheless, he who exists also with his name, and he alone knows it, and to him alone the Father gave a name. The Son is his name. He did not, therefore, keep it secretly hidden, but the Son came into existence. He himself gave a name to him. The name, then, is that of the Father, just as the name of the Father is the Son. For otherwise, where would compassion find a name outside of the Father? But someone will probably say to his companion, who would give a name to someone who existed before himself, as if, indeed, children did not receive their name from those who gave them birth? Above all, then, it is fitting for us to think this point over. What is the name? It is the real name. It is, indeed, the name which came from the Father, for it is he who owns the name. He did not, you see, get the name on loan, as in the case of others, because of the form in which each other of them is going to be created. This, then, is the authoritative name. There is no one else to whom he has given it, but it remained unnamed, unuttered, till the moment when he, who is perfect, pronounced it himself, and it was he alone who was able to pronounce his name and to see it. When it pleased him, then, that his Son should be his pronounced name, and when he gave this name to him, he who has come from the depths spoke his secret, because he knew that the Father was absolute goodness. For this reason, indeed, he sent this particular one in order that he might speak concerning the place, and his place of rest from which he had come forth, and that he might glorify the pleroma or allness, the greatness of his name, and the sweetness of his Father. Each one will speak concerning the place from which he has come forth, and to the region which he received his essential being. He will hasten to return once again. And he want from that place, the place where he was, because he tasted of that place, as he was nourished and grew. And his own place of rest is his pleroma or allness. All the emanations from the Father, therefore, are pleromas, and all his emanations have their roots in the one who caused them all to grow from himself. He appointed a limit. They then became manifest individually in order that they might be in their own thought, for that place to which they extend their thoughts is their root, which lifts them upward through all heights to the Father. They reach his head, which is rest for them, and they remain there near to it as they say that they have participated in its face by means of embraces. But these of this kind were not manifest, because they have not risen above themselves. Neither have they been deprived of the glory of the Father, nor have they thought of him as small, nor bitter, nor angry, but as absolutely good, unperturbed, sweet, knowing all the spaces before they came into existence, and having no need of instruction. Such are they who possess from above something of this immeasurable greatness, as they strain towards that unique and perfect one who exists there for them. And they do not go down to Hades. They have neither envy nor moaning, nor is death in them, but they rest in him who rests, without wearying themselves of becoming involved in the search for truth. But they, indeed, are the truth, and the Father is in them, and they are in the Father, since they are perfect, inseparable from him who is truly good. They lack nothing in any way, but they are given rest and are refreshed by the Spirit. And they listen to their root. They have leisure for themselves. They in whom he will find his root, and he will suffer no loss to his soul. You want to take over, brother?
Sure, I can finish it off. That was a nice chapter there. I really like that. That was some mana. This whole thing is basically mana. It's not written perfectly, but it's close, and it's got some different words. You know, I've made a few mistakes tonight, but I do feel that I'm hitting the right spots when I'm supposed to.
You're good to
Tell
go.
me when I'm good. Yeah. Such is the place of the blessed or the bemoored. This is their place. As for the rest, then, may they know, in their place, that it does not suit me, after having been in the place of rest, to say anything more. But he is the one in whom I shall be in order to vote myself, at all times, to the Father of the all, and to the true brothers, those upon whom the love of the Father is lavished, and in whose midst nothing of him is lacking. It is they who manifest themselves truly, since they are in that true and eternal life, and speak of the perfect light filled with the seed of the Father, and which is in his heart, and in the pleroma, or the all, while his Spirit rejoices in it, and glorifies him in whom it was, because the Father is good, and his children are perfect and worthy of his name, because he is the Father. Children of this kind are those of whom he loves. And that's the end. That's the book. I can unscreen share.
Well, is there anything that you want to point out before we leave it?
There's a lot in here.
Yeah,
I would like.
I don't know
people
if we can unpack this whole thing.
If
What
people
about
wanna read it-
highlights? Things that jumped out at you the most?
Well, I pointed out a bunch of them. The fact that we can be restored. The Father's not looking for the perfect ones. He's looking for the people that are looking for him. The people that are... So he knows his plantings because he is the one who has planted them in his paradise. And his paradise is in the place of rest. So again, the Father dwells in us. When we're doing righteous things and we love him and we love other people, the things that Yahawahashai told us to do. These are the point that... You know, there was a few other points. There was that one. The Father is the limitless one. You know, not me, just so everybody knows. I'm just borrowing the name. For this reason, the Father loved. So when we get likened. So a lot of this book is a spiritual book. This isn't about physically smelling things, right? This is about a feeling that you have, a memory. If you remember, okay, let's say you were laying in the grass, watching the stars one night growing up, and there was a certain smell in the air, and your spirit will remember that, and you will be able to visit that place again in your mind. So this is the place where we came from. We can spiritually smell it. That's what it's saying. Again, it talks about a psychic form, and remember, this was thousands of years ago, right? This was written. This isn't new. Talking about our mental psychic forms resembling cold water, and then the warm breath, the breath of life, the perfect thought. So again, some of the key things to highlight here. The first that came forth was the thought, right? That was the most important thing. And then through the time that we've gone through, the thought has come back and forth and back and forth. And now we're now looking back 6,000 years. We're here at the end. So we're proclaiming this book here was talking about what was in the beginning. And we've been talking about that too. The Cave of Treasures takes us back to the creation of Adam, the realm, all the things that had to take place. He didn't send his son into the world to condemn it, right? He sent his son in here so that there might be salvation through this place. So again, this book also talks about the non-existent, the nothingness. It talks about material reality of being nothing, right? There's so many different goodies in here.
Yeah, we had a comment in the chat of somebody saying, wow, these scriptures speak to support simulation, right? The material versus the spiritual, we'll call it.
They were really talking about that, and emanations recognizing it. So there's something else that, if we were a little bit stronger, in our spirit, this has been taken away from us. We don't. When you see someone, and if you recognize them, this is forgetfulness can be taken away. And I do believe that we've been here for a long time, and the Father wants to give you this. He wants to give everything good. He knows everything that's good for us. It says in here, and He wants to give it to us. We just got to ask. We got to do righteous things, fight for truth, stand up, learn. Was there any other stuff? Is there any other questions coming in?
No, a lot of people referred to it as manna. They said it was needed, that it came at the right time. That's all fantastic. And we don't believe in coincidences. We really don't. So when somebody says this came at the right time, chances are somebody was actually praying for it. And so the Spirit finds available conduits to work through in order to feed us, right? There's got to be the conduit there for it to work through. Well, there doesn't have to be. The scriptures say over and over, Creator could make a rock start talking if He needed to. But so if He does have humans that He can use as a conduit, He will. So we got to just all do our part to make ourselves available as that conduit. And you'll learn when it's coming from you, or if you had a question, and then all of a sudden understanding starts to come pouring in, and then links to stuff, and everything starts to click together, and you get it and understand it. That's how the Holy Spirit operates. But you have to be in the position, prepared to recognize it, right?
Well, so you called it the Holy Spirit there, and I just want to drill in on that word, the thought that came forth, the word. That's what we're referring to here. That's what inspires men to write this stuff, the same thought. And it's interesting how it says here, the aeons, at least, they've been taught the letters. He gave the knowledge of His name throughout the aeons. And when it was speaking of the Son and the Father's name, that's Yahawahashai, right? That's He that exists. It was going over in this book over and over. He that exists gave Himself the name of existence. And the Son's name, which was tied into it before the Son did what He did. And that is, He that exists is salvation. That's the Yahawahashai. That's what that name means. And He did not send His only begotten Son to die so that we'd be destroyed. He sent Him here so that we might make it into the day where there's no sunset, where it's a perfect day that dawns in our hearts. We're like so close to that day, everybody. Can you not see the world around us right now? Can you not see the darkness, the new world order moving in, all the stuff they're trying to do? This is exactly what was prophesied. This is what it said was going to happen. And as soon as all this is over, we actually get to do good things. We get to build. We get all these mountains of resources, and no pain, no tiredness, no more sadness. This is where we're headed. Paradise. Right now we're in it. It's just we left up. But it's great that His name, He was explaining here in this book. So again, this was roughly like just under 2,000 years ago.
And then the next sentence, each letter is a perfect truth, like a perfect book. So I just want to bang out here that it's YHWH. So the Yiddish, you'll hear people say Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. Vav.
That's not.
Vav. So Vav is the V. The V was created at the same time as the J. And so it's Yod, Hey, Wah, Hey. So, but that's Yiddish. So it's YHWH. And the Paleo-Hebrew pronunciation of it is Yah, Ha, Wah, Ha. So
that's right.
We were not pronouncing the Ah on the end of that for a while, but we have started pronouncing the A on the end of it. And the sentence above, where Ronnie's highlighted right now, they are pronounced only when they are known. So this is the type of stuff that gets revealed, and there's refinement, and the Spirit corrects.
Right? You first suggested it. It was you had a problem with not pronunciating it in the beginning. But again, we're completely on the right path. He reveals things, the Father, through us when He feels. It's His time. When the rants go on, I don't take credit for anything that I do that's good. It's not me. No way. It's the Father that does it through me. Now, I don't know in the next 1,000 years if I get to go and do some things that I might call my own, but for now, I give all the glory and all the credit to the Father, to the thought that first came forth. That's the place where the light came into being on itself and manifest itself through our image, people, right? You too, on the other side of the screen, when you speak truth, you are manifesting the thought, the first thing that came forth, right? This isn't an accident. And the first thought that came forth was thinking about salvation. The plan was already figured out, right? People then think that Adam fell, right, because he was bad. No. The plan of salvation had him fall so that through his fall, man could be saved. We could have a place of paradise without wickedness. They had to come in here too. And we're so close, everybody. I can't wait. I hope that tonight, let me know. You can take the screen share when you're ready. I hope that tonight we were able to share some higher level stuff. I'd like people to know on the other side of the screen, if you're not really into the whole religious thing, because we're not. But I mean, Christianity has, the mainstream stuff that you get from the churches has really done a disservice to the truth. And they're going to be held accountable. And I just hope that tonight we were able to show that Christianity has this amazing, poetic, nothing like it, mysteries that have been totally revealed and given to man. This is something that no other religion, no other group, they don't have these things. Buddha never claimed to be the creator, right? He didn't claim to be the son of the creator. So these are key things that I want everybody to just focus on, the mysteries of the kingdom, and just be fearless, be strong, be who you were created to be the children of the living Father.
Absolutely. So I guess we'll wrap it up for tonight. You can probably expect us to be live again this coming Wednesday night. And you can probably expect a few videos to be released before then, because we're sort of in the zone right now. So, brother, thank you so much. Great reading. Thank you to everybody that showed up tonight in the chat. Where are you going to hear this, brother?
Only on the Begotten Son, Yahawahashai Modern Day News Network.
Deep dive off the coast of my feelings. Been a year and a half of overthinking. Getting tired of nights that are cold. Take a windbreaker jacket for the road. Now I know. Sideways and full of indecision. I'm a rock at the bottom and I'm sinking into a darkness that I've never known. At the end of the day, yeah, what's there to say? 'Cause I was supposed to fall apart. I was supposed to grab the keys and take my car, but there you were. There you are. Had to leave my body. I thought I had to let it run its course. Whatever I've been through, the moment I see you, things start looking north. I've always had the wrong somebody. I've never met you like this before. Whatever I've been through ends when I see you. Things start looking north. I've been locked in a one-person view. It's like I can't rearrange what I'm used to. Hit the switch, flip a coin, change my clothes. Gets me close to content, but I'm still pretty bent. 'Cause I'm supposed to fall apart. I'm supposed to grab the keys and take my car,